We did have some other signings. The Red Sox got Lucas Giolito for 2 years, $38.5 million.
Yeah, something like that. This was inevitable because me and Sean did a pre-record on Friday for our Saturday show last week, which, by the way, we will have a Saturday show again this week.
That's right.
So
back on Saturday.
A little fun plug there.
Sean won't be back, though.
Yeah, no, Sean's not.
Ever.
He's not allowed back. Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun having Sean on. We went back through the top 10 moments of the D-backs season. If you didn't miss that show, check it out. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. But at the start of the episode, we were talking a little Red Sox. Obviously, Sean been a Red Sox fan sort of for a while, and now he lives in Boston. And
sellout.
And we're talking about how the Red Sox haven't done like a darn thing the whole offseason. And of course, the moment we stop recording this show, the Red Sox make this trade with the Braves and sign Lucas Giolito.
Tyler O'Neill doesn't move you?
Well, we did talk about Tyler O'Neill and the blockbuster move that was, but that didn't exactly grab headlines. I think the Giolito thing happened during the show, so if you go back and listen to it, we probably touched on that briefly. But yeah, 2 years, around $38 million for Giolito, a high dollar value to a guy who posted an ERA that I believe started with a 7 after the crazy waiver claim process started last year, and he bounced between a couple different teams and. He really struggled down the stretch. He's a guy you can count on from an inning standpoint, but I think there's some serious question at this point as to the quality of those innings and kind of what you're getting. He's back-to-back seasons with an ERA in the high 4s, but there's still some upside there, and you can see. I mean, the price for really any kind of starting pitching upside is pretty extreme. I think he's making $18 million in the first year of this deal, which is more than Eduardo Rodriguez will make with the Diamondbacks. He's only making 14. In the first year, according to some of the reporting we've seen. So
he's just had such an up and down career.
Yes.
He had 100%. A great first season with the Chicago White Sox, posting a 2.38 ERA. Next season, gave up the most earned runs in all of baseball the following season. Then the next season after that, lowers his ERA down to 3.41.
Yeah.
Leads the league in complete games and shutouts. So, I mean, you just don't know what you're going to get out of him. He went on to post a sub 3.5 ERA for the next 2 seasons, 3.53 in 2021. And then like 2022 and 2023 weren't great seasons for him. I think obviously it's kind of like bringing someone over here, to the Diamondbacks. There is some belief that if the talent is there, the coaching is in place here for them to potentially get him back to that ERA, but that seemed like a lot of money for a guy that you're still kind of gambling on him.
If you're the D-backs, Erod makes 10 times as much sense in my mind as Giolito.
Yeah.
You just don't have the margin in Arizona to be able to, kind of hope for the best or, see how well you can get Lucas Giolito back to the pitcher that he was. It's funny to think that a few months ago, Giolito was kind of at the top of our list of guys the D-backs should look to trade for at the deadline.
Yep, it sure was.
You look at Giolito's numbers with the White Sox last year, he had a 3.79 ERA in 21 starts. Things just fell apart for him. The moment he went to the Angels, he had 6 starts there with an ERA around 7, and then he fell to the Guardians, 6 starts there, and ERA again around 7. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of assurance with what the Red Sox are getting here, but I mean, it's remarkable the price for starting pitching, right? The fact that a guy like this with, the recent numbers that he's put up getting this much money, it is really crazy.
Speaking of another guy that might have gotten paid too much money, the Reds signed Frankie Montas to a 1-year, $16 million deal, which again, based on his numbers over the last few seasons, seems like an incredible amount of money to pay him. It also feels like a bit of a reclamation project for the Reds that, do they know something we don't hear about Frankie?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the Reds strike me as a team that really needs pitching that they can count on. And so in my mind, it's a little hard for me to understand for them. But yeah, I mean, he's a guy who has put up decent numbers recently, missed almost all of 2023 with injury. But you go back to 2022, he had a 4.05 ERA in 27 starts, a 3.37 the year prior with Oakland. So he's been a pretty good pitcher in this league. But again, I mean, the Reds are going to pay Frankie Montas more than the Diamondbacks are paying Eduardo Rodriguez. obviously the D-backs with Erod, they're paying a lot more in years than they are in AAV. But
still,
yeah, that comparison is still pretty crazy.
Connor hit the nail on the head. He said every new contract that's given out makes the deals Hazen has made this offseason look like steals. And he's absolutely right.
Yeah, there's some truth to that.
The Gino trade, the Eduardo Rodriguez, signing, all of these things are looking much better comparatively. And maybe that's part of maybe getting those deals done early was a good thing for this team. Maybe, kind of sealing the deal before some of these other contracts were given out. Like, we've talked about Corbin Carroll and what the difference would have been in extending him from the beginning of the season versus the end. Imagine if Eduardo Rodriguez sees Frankie Montas get $16 million a year. Like, that's a hard sell for him to get less than that after that point. So, but there's a lot of free agency action, like we said, still to come. A lot of big names left on the board. Blake Snell still out there. Jordan Montgomery, who I like very much, but I don't think is even a possibility now with the Diamondbacks financial situation. Yeah. A lot of guys that probably aren't, but who knows based on what the Diamondbacks could do. Maybe they'll defer somebody's contract off for 10 years until they have to pay it. But.
Six out of the 10 MLB trade rumors, top 10 free agents, 6 of those 10 guys are still out there. It's Chapman, Snell, Montgomery, Bellinger, Josh Hader, Shota Imanaga. All of those guys have yet to find homes, which is crazy. Yeah, I mean, this has been we do see a lot of fluctuation, as you said earlier, with how early guys sign in free agency. Yeah. But this year is about as extreme as it gets in terms of guys just waiting and kind of playing out the market.